Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Like to seek the blessings of Radha Shyam Sundar, the mother, Krishna Balaram, Bal Gopal, Gaunitai, Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, and the assembled devotees. So we continue with the Dasavatars. We've done a summary review of Mach, the fish, Kach, the tortoise, Vara, the boar incarnation, and yesterday also we looked at the half man, half lion incarnation of Lord Nrsimhadev. Today we wanted to look at Vamandev, the Brahmin boy, often referred to as the dwarf, but I believe he was, as Guru Maharaj would say, he was a young Brahmin boy. So after Lord Nrsimhadev's defeating Hiranyakashipu, Prahlad was crowned the emperor. Prahlad was very peaceful. When he renounced the kingdom, his son, Virochan, became the king. And the hatred amongst the demigods and the demons rose again. So Hiranyakashipu is in the line of the demoniac dynasty. Prahlad was his son. So he's also considered a demon, actually. But he's a devotee, very peaceful. His son was Virochan, who, again, lit up the fire with the demigods. Blazed with a dazzling golden crown, a boon from the sun god, Virochan became arrogant and offensive towards the demigods. Virochan had received the benediction that he could not be killed as long as he wore the crown. Knowing this, the demigods conspired against him. Disguised as sages, they entreated him and, they begged from him donation, dakshina. And the generous Virochan vowed to grant their wish. They begged for his crown. Now, even though Virochan recognized the demigod's plot, true to his word, he parted with his crown and his life as well. So this is, even though Virochan is in the line of the demons, his father was Prahlad. So naturally, he was a devotee. And even though he knew that the demigods had come to him via the sages to take the crown, and thus he would lose his life, he gave it. He made the promise and he honored the promise. So this is truly glorious. This deceit, however, enraged the son of Virochan, Bali. So Bali is the grandson of Prahlad, who waged a war against the demigods. Initially defeated, Bali was defeated, but by the mercy of his guru, Bali then heavily defeated Indra. And Bali's guru was Sukracharya, the demigods, the demons' guru. So Bali defeated the king of heaven. And Indra went to his spiritual master, Brihaspati, for help. So his guru advised him, even those who are evil may achieve temporary success. Because of his penances and charity, Bali has become extremely powerful. Don't try to resist him at the moment. It's a very interesting advice from the Acharya of the demigods, the Devatas. Taking their guru's advice, the demigods retreated, giving up their kingdoms and taking refuge in the lower planetary systems. Bali moved into Indra's palace and began to rule the universe. So now, Indra's mother, Aditi, she felt sorry for her sons. She's the mother of the Devatas. And her sister, Diti, is the mother of the demons. So they're related, they're cousins. Anyway, Indra's mother, Aditi, felt sorry for the Devatas. And she appealed to Lord Vishnu for help. Aditi is very powerful, very pious. Her husband, Kashyap Muni, great sage, one of the Saptarishis. In response, the Lord agreed to become her son. There is, Vishnu appeared before Mother Aditi. He entered her womb and in due course took birth, appearing in his blackish form with 4 arms and dressed in yellow garments. Soon after this, he changed his form into that of a Brahmin boy called Vaman. He appeared to be a student priest, wearing a deer skin and a sacred thread, and carrying a staff or a danda, umbrella, and a water pot. There he is, a young boy. He's got a staff, water pot. At that time, actually, many demigods came and they offered him many gifts. Many gifts were offered to Vamandev. And he was very effulgent, very beautiful, of course, as he would be. Vamandev made his way to the palace of Bali. Just at that moment, the king, Bali, was preparing for a religious ceremony. Lord Vaman shone so brilliantly as he entered the arena that the priest thought that the sun god himself had arrived. Of course, it's no surprise because Vamandev is the source of the sun god. He's a source of the sun as well. None other than Vishnu. King Bali became jubilant upon the sight of the beautiful boy. He welcomed him and offered him a seat. Having worshipped by him by bathing his feet. So this is Vedic culture. When an uninvited guest comes, he's treated with royalty. He's treated like a devata. Atiti Devabhava. And Bali Maharaj said to Vamandev, it is customary that the king give charity to the Brahmins. What may I give you? You can take anything you want. Food, cows, horses, elephants, chariots, houses, villages, gold, whatever your heart may desire. This was the generous nature of this family. O king of demons, Vamandev replied, I only ask for 3 paces of land, measured by my own footsteps. Bali Maharaj was shocked. Is that all you want? I can give you anything you want. I can give you a kingdom of earth. I can give you a planet or 2. Vamandev said, a Brahmin should not ask for more than he needs. I require only enough land upon which to sleep. The king shook his head in disbelief. My dear Vaman, although you are very learned, you're only a boy. Therefore, you're not so intelligent and don't know what's best for you. Take this opportunity. I could easily give you an entire planet. Thank you, Lord Vaman replied. However, only one who is not greedy and is content with whatever God provides is truly happy. If I were not happy with the 3 paces of land, I'd also be dissatisfied with the entire planet. So this is true, because we notice as soon as we get something, even though we've wanted it for a long time, as soon as we get it, it's not enough. We want something else, something more. So Vamandev is giving us a strong hint. And if I did own a planet, then surely I would want another one and another. A person unable to control his greed cannot be happy, even if he owns the universe. Therefore, all I ask of you is 3 paces of land. So now, Bali Maharaj was about to do a yajna and his spiritual master was present. His spiritual master is Sukracharya. He was conducting, or he was overseeing the conduct of the yajna. And this yajna was an important yajna. It would have made Bali Maharaj the king of heaven forever. So Sukracharya, he warned Bali that the boy was the Lord himself as Vishnu, and he would take everything away from Bali. And he advised Bali, you can take back your promise. You have not yet uttered the word Om. So your promise can be revoked because the promise is also being taken from you in a deceitful way. So Sukracharya gave Bali some options. But Bali was not prepared to go back on his word. He knew that Mother Earth cannot bear the weight of a dishonest person. And now that the Lord himself had come to his door, how could he go against the supreme will? So he's a wonderful devotee, Bali Maharaj. Though not abiding by the Guru's order would ordinarily be an offense, Bali rejected his Guru's advice because it contradicted the principle of satisfying the Lord. So the most important thing in life is to please God. And in this situation, Bali knew that if he followed his Guru's order, he would displease Vamandev. So he broke the order of his Guru. He cited the example of great souls who sacrifice their lives for others. After all, death takes away everything. So why be attached to one's possessions? Very, very logical, devotional thoughts from Bali. On hearing this, Sukracharya condemned his disobedient disciple to lose all his wealth. So Sukracharya cursed him. Yeah. After all, Sukracharya, he would want his Guru Dakshina after the ceremony. And if Bali didn't have any money or any possessions, there would be no Guru Dakshina to give to him. And this is also part of the Leela of the Lord. Sukracharya is no ordinary person. So this is Sukracharya advising Bali Maharaj and his Vamandev seated on the throne. All right, the king reluctantly agreed. Take whatever you like, go ahead. Pace out the 3 steps of land. Lord Vamandev began to grow and grow. With his first step, he covered half the universe. And his second step, he crossed beyond the heavenly planets. His big toe pierced the covering of the universe. Not a square inch of land remained for his third step. This is Vamandev. He's also known as Trivikram, control of the 3 worlds. When his foot crossed the covering of the universe, from that, there was a hole that was made. From that hole came Ganga Mata. And this is the universe. And there's the coverings. There's 7 coverings, very, very thick. Each one 10 times thicker than the previous. But Vamandev's foot pierced a hole in this covering. So then, Vamandev returned to his original size and he said to the king, "O king, you owned all land throughout the universe as far as the sun and the moon and the stars. With 2 paces, I've taken it all from you. But remember, you promised me 3 steps of land. You have broken your promise." The Lord had Bali bound. Bali was perplexed. How could he keep his promise? He was bound. There he is. At that time, Prahlad Maharaj came, advised Bali. surrender to the Lord. The king realized that it was Lord Vishnu himself who had appeared as a dwarf or a Brahmin boy simply to cheat him. The king replied, "O Lord, you're always good, whether you punish or reward. You appear to be my enemy, for you side with the demigods. But actually, you are my true friend, helping me understand how this life and any possession are temporary." So in this way, Bali Maharaj was actually more advanced than the demigods. Whenever the demigods lose something, they pray to Vishnu, "Please help us get it back." But you see here, Bali Maharaj is realizing, you have made me realize that life and any possessions are temporary. So actually, Bali Maharaj has a better understanding than the devatas. Nothing in this world escapes the ravage of time. You have taken all my wealth, but I still have myself. Please place your third step on my head. I have not broken my promise. You can place your foot, your third step on my head. So this is Bali Maharaj surrendering himself completely. And that pleased the Lord very much, because Bali surrendered. Not out of fear, not out of anger. He surrendered out of love. "Thank you, my Lord. You've made me understand. I will lose everything anyway." So at that moment, Bali's wife, Vindhyavali, she stepped forward. She addressed Vaman Dev, "My dear Lord, foolish men think they own something. But in reality, everything belongs to you. Though my husband is offering you his body, he does not realize it is on loan from you. Please forgive his foolishness." So actually, Bali's wife was more elevated than Bali Maharaj himself. We don't even own this body. How can we say to the Lord, "Put your step on my head. Put your third foot on my head, third step on my head"? It's not even ours in the first place. It belongs to him. This is really powerful statement by Bali Maharaj's wife, Vidyavali. Lord Vaman was gently smiling and replied, "My dear queen, your husband has greatly pleased me. Determined to give me everything, he kept nothing for himself. By his full surrender, he has proven to be my true devotee. For this, you shall both live on the subterranean planet called Sutala. It is more opulent than even the celestial realms." So Vamdev was pleased with Bali and his wife. The Lord also protects Bali on the Sutala planet with his disc. And he said to Bali that you can see me at any time because I will be your gatekeeper. So this is where the Lord surrenders himself to his surrendered devotees. He serves his own devotees. He became a gatekeeper. He became a gatekeeper of Bali Maharaj on the planet of Sutala. And Sutala is here, number 10 on the list, one of the lower planets. But actually the opulence there is more greater than the heavens. This is where Bali Maharaj resides. Okay, after this incident, the demigods defeated the demons and recaptured their heavenly planets. Since that time, King Bali has become famous as one who surrendered everything, including himself, to the service of the Lord. He's also one of the 12 Mahajans. Mahajan means great soul, knowledgeable soul. So this is the incarnation of Vaman. And as a side point, I think it was Bali Maharaj's sister, when she saw Vamandev appear initially, she became so attracted to Vamandev. She said, I'd like to feed this boy my breast milk. But then when she saw Vamandev bound up Bali, took everything away, she became angry and she said, I'd poison him. So the Lord actually fulfilled that desire of the sister. And she became Putana in the pastime of Krishna, where she tried to poison Krishna with her breast milk. So, next avatar is the sixth avatar, is Parshuram. Parshuram is a warrior avatar. There was a king named Kusha, not to be confused with Kusha, son of Ram, ancestor of Janu, and Kusha's son was powerful, very righteous, Kushanab, whose son was King Gadi. Gadi's son is this great saint, Vishwamitra. Initially, he had a daughter called Satyavati. So this is, this is a little complex. I forgot about this. A sage called Ruchika wanted to marry Satyavati. The king set an impossible dowry because the sage looked pretty, unruly. He looked scruffy. The sage is a sage after all. So the king thought, oh, you want to marry my daughter? I'm going to set you a really tough dowry. He asked for 1,000 white horses with one black ear. Now, Ruchika, he worshipped Varun. Varun is the demigod of the oceans, very rich. And Varun granted him the gift of 1,000 white horses with a black ear. So Ruchika married Satyavati. And then Satyavati, together with her mother, they requested sons from Ruchika. Satyavati, of course, was the wife, but the mother, they hadn't had any sons. So she requested him, Ruchika, for a son. So Ruchika, he gave them both, mother and daughter, some special sweet rice to eat. Now, the mother was thinking, the sweet rice given to Satyavati, my daughter, by Ruchika must be better. So she said, can we swap, please? I want your sweet rice, you have mine. So they swapped it. And that was a mistake. Because what happened was, Ruchika had put the blessing that Satyavati's sweet rice would give rise to a Brahman, and the mother's sweet rice would give rise to a Kshatriya, a powerful warrior. So by mixing it up, the roles swapped. Satyavati got a powerful Kshatriya son. And Satyavati was a little upset with that. So she begged Ruchika, please change this now, if you can. So Ruchika said, okay, in that case, your grandson will be a warrior instead. So Ruchika's grandson, Satyavati's grandson, is Parshuram. The son was Damdagni, who was a great Brahmin, one of the Saptarishis as well. And Satyavati's mother, she gave birth to Vishwamitra. So this is the mother of Vishwamitra. This is the story. And Vishwamitra, as we know, is very famous. The guru of Ram. And he had some amazing pastimes of Vashishtha. Anyway, Jamdagni had 5 children with Renuka, and the youngest was Parshuram, and that's the incarnation we want to talk about. Jamdagni also possessed a wish-fulfilling cow called Kamadenu. This magical cow could give one whatever one desired. But Jamdagni always lived very simply. He was a Brahmin. He was very humble. One day, there was a king called Kartavirya Arjun. He was traveling through the forest with his army, and he came upon the ashram of Jamdagni. Jamdagni happily received the king, and Jamdagni provided a big feast to the king and his army. That feast was given by Kamadhenu, the cow. Jamdagni was very simple. He didn't have anything. So Kartavirya Arjun, he was thinking, how did this poor Brahmin produce such a big feast? So he asked the king, he asked the sage, Jamdagni, how did you do it? And the sage told him, this cow is a wish-fulfilling cow. But instead of being grateful, the greedy king, seeing the glory of the Kamadhenu, stole the cow. And he left for his kingdom. Shortly afterwards, Parshuram returned because they were away at this time. Hearing of the theft, he became angry. He dressed in a black deerskin and with the matted locks of hair, he took his axe and shield and was fearful to behold. He pursued the wicked king, apprehending the army as they approached the city's gates. There, following a terrible battle, he killed and severed the arms and legs of all the army. He killed them. Then he finally challenged the king. He chopped off his 1,000 arms. So Arjun, what's his name again? Kartavirya. Kartavirya was very powerful. He had 1,000 arms. And he was a very powerful king. But Parshuram chopped his 1,000 arms off and killed him. This is the battle between Parshuram and Kartavirya Arjun. Happily returning home with the Kamadhenu, with the cow, Parshuram told his father everything. But the father was not happy. My son, you have sinned by killing a powerful emperor, protector of the citizens. The duty of the Brahmin is to develop qualities of forgiveness. The Lord is pleased with those who forgive. Parshuram felt sorry and he repented his foolishness. To atone for his sins, he set off on a pilgrimage. After 1 year of visiting the holy places, he returned home again. So, however, one time, Renuka, the wife of Jamdagni, she went to the Ganga to get some water. There, she became attracted by one of the Gandharvas there, very beautiful, called Padma Mali. So within her mind, she became a little attracted. She was late coming back home. And her husband became upset and he realized what was in the mind of his wife. And then he told his sons to kill the mother. Now, Parshuram wasn't there, but the sons refused this order. Now, Parshuram, when he came, Jamdagni instructed his youngest son to kill not just the mother, but the brothers as well. Now, Parshuram, he knew the power of his father. So he did what the father ordered. He knew his father would become pleased and he would say to Parshuram, okay, you have fulfilled my order. What would you like? So after killing his mother and his 4 brothers, Parshuram said to his father, Jamdagni, please, if you want to give me a boon, bring my mother and my brothers back to life. And Jamdagni did that. And also not to remember having been killed by him. So Jamdagni was a very powerful sage. He managed to rescue the family, basically. Anyway, one day, the 10,000 sons of Kartavirya Arjuna. They wanted revenge for his father's death. So they came to this hermitage of Jamdagni and they killed the father, Jamdagni, chopped his head off, took it with him. When Parshuram and his brothers heard of the screams of their mother, they became overwhelmed with grief. And Parshuram became very angry. And at that time, he destroyed the Kshatriya, the 10,000 sons of Kartavirya Arjuna. And he would go on to destroy 21 generations of Kshatriyas because they had become too proud. So he's an avatar of God who is famous for destroying the Kshatriya class of oppressive kings. Here he is. Then later, Parshuram joined his father, his head, Jamdagni's head to his body, placed it on kusha grass, and he was able to regain his own body and become one of the seven, the Saptarishis. Parshuram then gave away the entire earth to Kashyap Muni. Kashyap Muni was the father of the demigods. And he went to perform austerities in the Himalayas, where he still resides. So Parshuram is one of those personalities who still lives in earth. And one time he met with Lord Ram, who curbed his power. So Parshuram, avatar of God, when he met with Ram, all his powers were transferred to Ram. And he met Ram at the wedding of Sita, just after the wedding of Sita. Very powerful meeting. In the next manvantara, the lotus-eyed personality of God, Lord Parshuram, the son of Jamdagni, will be the propounder of Vedic knowledge and become one of the seven rishis. So this prediction has come true. Canto 9, chapter 16, text 25. So why did Parshuram kill so many people? Isn't it better to establish peace than wage war? The massacre must have left many families unprotected, children unorphaned, towns devastated, communities disrupted. So his war, however, was a just revolution against injustice. It was necessary to establish true peace, which had been disrupted by the aggressive leaders. To fulfill his promise to protect his devotees, Lord Krishna, as Parshuram, destroyed the corrupt leaders who were harassing the saints. The devotees of the Lord are the bearers of peace and prosperity because they constantly serve the auspicious Lord Krishna, husband of the goddess of fortune. Since government leaders were neglecting religious principles and torturing innocent citizens, their hostile reign had to end. The sages had been forgiving the king's misdemeanors until the situation got out of hand. So Parshuram is also listed as both a Lila avatar and a Shaktavesh avatar, especially empowered to eradicate evildoers. So Shaktavesh avatars, that's a little complicated. They can be direct or indirect incarnations of God. So in fact, Parshuram is regarded to be an indirect incarnation because he's a jiva who has been specially empowered by God. So this is Parshuram Avatar Ki Jai. So we're going to stop there. We can continue tomorrow. Any questions? Any comments? Okay, we can stop there.